Hello, welcome back. This is Vickie with VJ Designs. This is part 2 of my KCC card challenge, which is Kendra's card challenge, number 22. So let's just jump right in. If you haven't watched my last video, you can watch that on putting together my first 7 sketches. Well, the first 3 I had already done, so I put 4 through 7 together with you. This is her sketch, number 8. Okay, I kind of had to redo this because I messed it up. So what we're going to do is take, I cut out a mat that's going to go on my base, and it's going to be covered up. But it's easier for me if I do this on a mat. Because then I can cut off the excess pieces. And I started to do this, and I put a mat down, and then when you get to these pieces that are longer, if you've already glued the mat down, it's harder to cut these off. So I just started over. Besides, I put a colorful mat excuse me, underneath, and it was covering up the whole mat. So yeah, so we'll just put this down here, and you want to make sure this corner is at least even with the edge of the mat, which is not. Go down a little bit further. Okay, it's got to hang over long enough, far enough to cut off the excess. I'm just making a royal mess here. All right, maybe this time it'll work. All right, there we go. I'll tell you what, having troubles. Okay, you want it to just come up to the edge of that other paper. Okay, now this center part gets left. We're going to put this corner down here. I think that's probably why I was putting a colored mat underneath, so I wouldn't have such a large white space, but it's okay. See, it leaves quite a large space in the middle, and I don't really like a lot of white, but we're going to put this in the middle and then put our happy birthday sentiment over that, so it'll be fine. So now what I want to do is cut off the excess off the edges. Just do that from the back side. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I had a fun day. My bestie called me this morning and said, "Do you want to go to Billings?" And I'm like, sure. I was just crafting, and I thought her husband was going to go with her today, but it ends up he did not. So she called me and said, yay, we can go. So that's what I did today. And then I got a call from some of my husband's cousins that I have not seen for years So we're going to just put this in the middle. And they were in town visiting. Two of my husband's favorite aunt kids. Well, they're, you know, they're about my age. They were in town and they were visiting their other cousins in Columbus, and then they wanted to know if they could come out and see us. So I'm like, yes, of course. And you may or may not know, I lost my husband in 2006, so it's been 20 years that he's been gone. And so it was kind of cool to, you know, connect with them. And I loved their mom, my husband's aunt. She was just a wonderful Christian woman and loved the Lord, and she was so talented, and she drew and she wrote lots and lots of poetry and stories, and oh my gosh, she was so talented. She was just an amazing person. I loved her so much. So, I decided instead of just using the happy birthday, that I would go ahead, and I love this little die cut. I can't recall right off the top of my head who I got this from, but I'll put it in my description. Sorry, I have to hold this close to me so I can get glue on the back of it. So anyway, it was good. It was really nice connecting with them and kind of reminiscing, and they were close with my husband when they were growing up. They were close to the same age and have good memories. So that's going to go on there like that. And I don't think I'm going to even put that up on dimensionals. Some of them I do, but don't think I'm going to do that this time. I really love this happy birthday die cut. I love the font. It's just so fun. Okay, so now that's ready to get glued onto the card. It's much easier for me to do it that way when you have those pieces that have to be cut off. And I always forget, and I glue down the mat first, and then I'm having to try and cut out those pieces after it's glued down. So, anyway. So, okay, there is sketch number 8. And I don't remember if I showed you, that's the sketch. And she said put any image, so that's the image that I put. I love it. Okay, that's number 8. Set it over here. Okay, let's go on to number 9. This one's a little more difficult, but we'll get it. So this has a mat, and I used a coordinating paper for the mat. This one I have not used yet. I really like it. And it is directional, but that's okay because I'm just putting it down vertical as the mat. The mat is portrait, so this works out great. I could put it this way. You can always, if you want to, you can turn these sketches and do them landscape if they're portrait, and vice versa. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing on this. I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to work on this. This is the sketch. And it's a little harder, but I cut out a mat that is the size once we get all these pieces down. Okay, so I'm just going to start gluing. I'm not going to worry about so we know that this one goes right to the corner and right up to the top. Okay, it's right to the corner. Now, the other pieces, I believe this is C. And here again, these are going to be cut off, but they're at a slant. So you got to make sure that there's enough on the end over here to cut. Okay. All right. I had to write C on the back because I forget when I get them all cut out like this and put in the envelopes or put them in with the cards. I kind of forget which is which. Okay, so now we go to paper B, which is this one. So B has 4 pieces. So here's another B. Get it right to the edge. And some of you may have a better system on doing this, and if you do, I would like to know what it is. Because these are going to end up being cut straight. But I'm going to end up covering them like this. So it'll be fine. Okay, now paper A. Is this one. That one goes next. Okay, and then B again. And see, this is interesting because you're supposed to end with this piece. And these are all the same size, so I don't know what happened, but let's see. And it's gonna fit, so you know what, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna put this on, and we won't need the other one. So I'm just gonna put glue on this part. Okay, so I think I'm just going to use my trimmer over here. Trim all these off. Okay. And then this piece is going to go on here like this. I'm going to have to trim off a little bit. Okay, that's fine. We're punting. It's okay to punt. It doesn't have to be exactly, just as long as she can tell that this is the sketch you're doing. It doesn't have to be exact. You can change these up and do your own thing, just as long as she can tell that this is the sketch you're doing. Okay, so let's take off that edge. Now that's if you're loading them up onto Kendra's site to participate in their, you know, drawing entry and all that. If you're just making them for your own use, then it doesn't really matter. You can change them up all you want to. So, okay, so now I will go ahead and mount that on there on the mat. Okay, just like that. And then this is the sentiment that I've chosen to put on here. It's a little bigger than what she suggested, a 1 3/4 inch circle with a 2 inch underneath. And I believe this is a 2 inch and this is 2 1/4. So that's fine. This will work. So I think I am going to put this one on dimensionals. And let's find the end of this. If you guys have watched me before, you've heard me talk about these dimensionals. I get them at the Dollar Tree. $1.25 or $1.50, whatever it is now. They have them in the automotive section of all things. And they come in a roll like this. already in little sections. So they're perfect. I love them. And they're inexpensive and they work really great. You can cut them down if you have to, you know, make small pieces or whatever. Okay, and like I said, you can turn these around and make them like this orientation, but for this card, I think it looks better to do it just like she has it. And, you know, like I've said before, I pretty much stay with her sketches because her sketches are awesome. And there's no reason, I don't think, to go, you know, veer off too much from them. I've seen people do amazing things, though, with these sketches. Oh, my gosh. So, okay. I have a Craft-A-Lanch over here. And I think I'm done with this page. Okay, so I can get that out of the way. All right, here's the next one. Here's number 10. That's pretty simple, right? So, on her, in number 10... the only piece, she had 2 pieces that were actually cut out of the papers of the 6x6s that you use, which is this one and this one. Okay, so the rest of these pieces, she shows on here that, oh my gosh, I've got stuff falling everywhere. Okay, this is a 2 1/4 by 3 1/4 mat, and then 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, and a 2 by 3 on top of that. And then the circle was cut out, and then she says a 1 1/inch layer, 1 1/4 inch layer underneath. So this one is the mat. So let's get it down. Make sure my card's opening on the right side. Anybody relate to that? Okay, and then we have, I chose to cut the first mat out of this paper. It goes about there. Make sure it's straight. Okay, and then I cut a plain mat out of this paper that coordinates. So we'll get it down. It just kind of staggered like this. And then the white goes on top of there, and I put my sentiment on here, birthday wishes. These cards come together so quickly once you get all your pieces together and everything. They just go together. Okay, so then this is the mat, or the larger piece I chose for underneath. So I'm going to put this on here. Like that. And I'll just go down here in the corner. Could put it up here. Actually, I might do it right there because I think if I put it down here, it blends into that paper and it kind of disappears. And if I put it up here, it sticks out more. So I think I like that better. And I think what we might do, I have the right color sparkle spots in this one. Let me see what I have. My halfback pearls, I've got blue. Could use the blue. It's a very light blue. Come on. I always have a hard time turning these things over. Yes, I think I will use those. Use 3 of those up here. Actually, I had, those are for a different one, I think. I put stuff on my desk to have it ready, and then it gets moved around. You know how that goes? So, and I lost, there it is. Okay, that finishes off that card. That was pretty simple. Number 10. Very cute. All right. So on to the next one. 11. This one has a bunch of pieces. This is one of the more time-consuming ones. Okay, so here again, I made a mat to put all these pieces on. So I'm going to put the mat underneath down first. I love this color. It's like a melon. I don't know. Very pretty color. I think it just came in a pack of pinks that I got from Michael's or something. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for now. And this is the sketch. This is what I mean by a little more difficult. Okay, but it's not that difficult. So, what I did was I cut out a piece of white. It shows down here, it doesn't say to cut out any white, but I measured it, the measurements, so that I could do all the angled pieces correctly. So instead of, you know, trying to put them on the mat and get them, you know what I mean. So I might have to cut off a slight sliver over here because, anyway. Okay, so paper D, I believe, is this one. If I can get a hold of it. And it's going to go like this. You want it to hang over the edges so you can cut it. It'll go right up next to that. Okay. And then we have B. Same thing. Right up next to it. Okay. Then we have D again, bigger one. And this, you got to make sure this is hanging over far enough over here to cut. Okay. Now, we need to put this one. And this is a straight edge. So this is going to go up the side. Okay, just like that. Sorry, I see a little white space there. Okay. Now we put on E, which is this. I believe. Yeah. Okay. Now we want to go this way with this one. Kind of putting it together like a puzzle. Okay, then we put B on like this. Okay. Then we do D, which is this one. Now the orientation on this one is, it's been this way, but it is going to go this way, and that doesn't bother me. It's fine. If it bothered you, you could cut out another piece. Look at that, it comes out perfect there to the corner. That's what I want. Okay, and then we want E right here. So yeah, if the orientation doesn't come out right, if you have extra paper, you can just cut out a piece where the orientation would be up like this and put it there if that bothered you to do that. Okay, and then we have one more. Oops. Drop it on my mat, get it all messy. Gotta clean this mat again. Okay, so we want, I think I have enough. I'm getting glue everywhere, you guys. Gosh. I mean, you're not having fun unless you're getting messy, right? Gosh. These crafters that are really, really neat and keep their desks so neat and everything all the time while they're crafting. I don't know how they do that, but I am not that crafter, okay? But I try not to let that glue sit too long on. You can see spots on here where I've gotten, I have a hard time getting this off. So if you know anything that will take it off this mat really well, let me know. I've tried alcohol, but it doesn't seem to phase it. Anyway, That's as clean as I can get. Okay, so now what we do is cut off. I think I'll just cut it. Okay. Get rid of all those little pieces. Now we're ready to put it on, and this goes this way. Okay. So look at that. I think that's just so pretty. So pretty. These papers, I'm loving them. I'm going to be making more cards. A few months ago, what I did, I used a bonable. This has been a long day. Bonus printable, okay, to make my cards. And you have cutoffs, and you have leftover pieces and leftover pages, like if you printed too many or whatever. So I made a whole nother set of cards using all those, pretty much all those pieces. And not using the sketches, I just did my own thing, and they turned out so pretty, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so there is sketch number 11. Loving it. Okay, here's 12. Sorry about the glare on these papers. Okay, this is sketch number 12. Pretty simple. So it goes this way. I didn't even have my bling out to put on. So let me get my mat down. Making sure I don't have pieces that are hanging over that I gotta cut off. And it's opening in the right direction. Okay. And this is the mat. It calls for a layer underneath. Oh, let's see, where are we going to put this? Up here. I think this is where I decided. Got to put it up a little higher because these pieces need to come down here. You don't want them to hang off the card. So here's this one, comes in a little bit, and that one, and then that one. So they're all fine. And then I've got the sentiment. So we'll go ahead and put this down. And I love getting all these sketches because it just gives you an endless supply of, you know, ideas and you can make them over and over again. I've given so many out for like birthday cards. This month I needed more birthday cards, so that's why I'm doing so many birthday cards. But you can do thank you, you know, thinking about you, hello, whatever. You can make them plain. People could write their own message. You could just put an image or something on the outside, you know, whatever. I mean, the sky is the limit, really. These sketches are a starting point, and get your ideas flowing, and then, you know. Okay, so there's that. And we'll just start with this one over here. And that just goes right up to the edge of that. And then this one. And you could, you know, this one doesn't say to do that, but if you wanted to, you could kind of overlap them. Okay, and I thought I had three of these flowers. So I'm going to put this right here like this. Make sure it's straight. And well, I thought I had 3 flowers, but I don't see the third one. So let's grab one. I love these flowers. I got them from, well, they're Paper Studio, so it's Hobby Lobby. And I love going there. I think next week, the lady told me, because I always seem to miss it. I never could figure out when they had them on sale. A lot of times I'd go in there and it seemed like they were always on sale, but then all of a sudden I'd go in there and they weren't on sale, and I couldn't figure out how to figure that out. So finally I asked one of the sales ladies, and she goes, Paper Studio goes on sale every other week. I'm like, oh, good to know. So this week they were not on sale. So next week they should be. Anyway, that is sketch number 12. Very cute. All right, we're moving right along. This is 13. Here's the sketch for that. Very simple. Okay. And again, it called for double layers. So this is the first mat that I'm putting down. So what I did, my printer goofed when I was printing this paper, this page. So I turned it over and I printed again after I cleaned the heads on my printer. And I printed this page. So anyway. Okay, now this is the mat that was cut out of the 6x6s, one of them. This is what this called for, so this is what's going down next. I think this is so cute, these little starfish. Okay, so then we have this one. And these are supposed to go right up to the top. Like that. And then this one will go on here like this. Okay? Very cute. I love it. All right. So let's glue these two pieces together first. This goes right up to the top. Okay, so now we'll get this one down first. It goes top of here. Okay, there it is. One and done. That's number 13. Very cute. I'm going to have a slew of birthday cards ready to go. I love it. Okay, here's number 14. We're almost done, guys. Okay, this is number 14. And this is going landscape. So let's get the mat down. I love this color. All these colors go together so well. Okay, so we're starting off with this one. Then we have an embossed piece, okay, that goes here. And I think I'll turn it around. Now, this is a hard, I might have run it through on the wrong sandwich because it almost cut it out because it's a deep embosser folder. It's not a 3D. It doesn't say 3D, but it's kind of a deep embossing. It's really pretty. I want to make sure I get these on here fairly even. Okay. Then we've got this embossed piece that's going to go here. Okay, and then this one's going here. And then we have this one down here. Okay, we're going to have to move those up a little bit. Okay, here we go. Get that on there. My shaking, I really get frustrated sometimes because I go to put the paper and it moves. My fingers move them around, so, you know, there's that. But we get it done eventually. Okay, and then there's that. And then we have a sentiment that is going in the middle like this. Okay, so let's get them down. I'm going to leave these here so I know where I'm supposed to go. And I think I'm going to try and use my tweezers. Get these laid down. Okay. And like I said, this one has started to rip, but, you know, you put glue on it and just lay it down and you can't really tell. Shouldn't be able to tell. Okay. All right, we got those two pieces down. Now these will be easier to get where they need to be. Like I said, I just usually eyeball everything. I need to get one of those T rulers though, because that would probably help me a lot. Okay, so you can't even tell where that was ripped. Okay, there's that. Now we'll get this one down. Okay, and one more. And then all we need to do is put the sentiment on and we'll be done with this one. Okay. Yay. Looking cute. I think I'm going to put this up on dimensionals. It's been so windy here the last few days. The wind finally has died down. This evening I tried to go out and finally be able to sit on my deck. I just got my deck furniture last Friday and haven't been able to sit out there because it's been so rainy and cold and windy since last Friday. And this evening the wind died down. I thought I could go out for a while, but it was still just a little bit too chilly. I mean, I probably could have put a jacket on. I'd been fine, but okay. Let's put a dab of glue on here. Like Bill Phillips says on Mindless Crafting, 10,000 years from now, I want my card to stay together. That's another, if you don't know Bill and Tracy on Mindless Crafting, oh my goodness, you are missing out. I'm going to put them below my description description box. So check them out. They're lots of fun. Okay, that is number 14. We have one more to go. Yay, you're probably going, yay, hurry up, get done. If you're still watching, that is. Okay, and all right, so this one is going this direction. And opening up the right way. Come on, glue. Yep, there you go. I'm gonna say you haven't failed me yet since I've been here this afternoon. Okay. Now this goes This does not call for a mat, but I always like to put mats, as I mentioned before. So I put my mat, and then this will go. This was supposed to go top to bottom, the top of the card to the bottom of the card, but since I put a mat on here, I just cut it to fit the mat. Okay, and then this is another mat that's going on here. And then this one. Okay, so let's just get it down. And then this goes in the center. And then this one goes on here. Put it on here like that. And then I just cut out this little sentiment to put across here. Like that. So I'm just going to glue that down. Right there. Okay. And we are done. You could still put some bling on here. I'll probably come back later. Maybe put something on there, but there's number 15. Okay, we are done. So, we have done 15, 14. Get this stuff out of the way. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Okay, so there's sketches 8 through 15. To finish off my 15 cards for June. And again, I used Kendra's bonus printables. So check out Kendra if you've not heard of her. If you haven't checked her out yet, you've been hearing everybody talk about Kendra's card challenge. Just check her out. It's so much fun. And all you need to do is be subscribed to her channel in order to get the free PDF for printable sketches. It tells you exactly how to cut them out and how to put them together. All right. Thank you, friends, for stopping by, spending time with me today, and hope you have a great rest of your day, whatever you're doing, wherever you're at. God bless. Bye.